If you don't have a driver's license, that could literally be the only factor that eliminates you from getting a job. Hello team, welcome to another video of Doing, Being, Becoming, where we aim to inform, impact, influence and inspire. Hello November, 5 to December, Q2 festive season. Today I come with something that has been the bane of many of our frustrations. I come with a story and an example of how life or codename people make things more difficult than they're supposed to be. I come with how systems are corrupted by greedy people. I come with how really just people don't want you to prosper, okay? I come with an example and a story that is very familiar to many of us, and unfortunately more of us can relate than those who can't. If you can't relate, share this with somebody who can relate. If you relate, like this video and comment with your own story. But basically in this video I'm going to be telling you, first of all, what these are and why on earth I have so many. And also how I spent 10,000 Rand on a driver's license. Okay, so living in South Africa, we are all aware and understand why it is important for us to have our driver's license, because first of all, the public system is flawed, and secondly, because in order for you to get any job these days, you need to have a driver's license. It's right up there with your matric certificate or your NQ level 4, 5, 6. You need to have a driver's license, okay? You can be as qualified as you want to, but if you don't have a driver's license, that could literally be the only factor that eliminates you from getting a job. It secures your independence. It is a safety and an emergency measure in case somebody becomes ill in the area and you need to be rushed to the hospital or something to that effect. It's very beneficial for you to be able to drive and for you to be a licensed driver. It opens opportunities for you, like I said, because some jobs you won't get if you don't have a driver's license. And also it elevates your occupational profile and your occupational performance, because there are certain activities that you are only able to access if you have a driver's license. For example, road trips become a lot easier if you have one. Everything just becomes more accessible to you when you do have a driver's license, and additionally a car on top of that if you can. Okay, so but then what happens when there are hindrances that would limit you from being able to get this token of independence? So because this is such an important thing, you would think that it would be easy for you to get it. You know, you just think, book your lessons, get a driving school, drive, test, pass, Bob's your uncle. No, he's not. So unfortunately, as much as we as individuals would want to progress and develop ourselves, there are certain stumbling blocks within the macro environment that prevent us from doing that which will further us, that which will develop us. For many people, these jobs are basically the only thing that will secure a livelihood for them, and it is unfortunate that there are stumbling blocks that have been placed in their way. What stumbling blocks are these that I'm talking about? Well, if you are somebody who has gone and got your driver's license, congratulations. I hope you're safe on the road, don't drink and drive. You would know that it's not that easy. You would know that there is a lot of shenanigans that are happening, behind the scenes, only because of systems and people who have polluted and corrupted systems that don't make it as easy to get your driver's license as it should be. So what am I talking about? I'm going to share my own experience. Okay, so my my driving story started in 2000 and what? 2015, 16, yeah. I was an EA, an exam assistant, and after I got paid, I decided to get myself a driver's license. No, I did not. That's not how you get a driver's license. I decided to get my learner's license, okay? So, got my learners, passed that, cool. And then, because of school and finances, it was difficult to get it while I was in varsity. So, last year, I started working, was like, cool, let's get this driver's license. Right. Did my lessons, but then I wasn't too confident, okay? So I was like, okay, no, I'll just like practice at home, and then when I'm confident, I'll go and book my test. Didn't happen. Learners expired, as it does, because it's only valid for 2 years. And then at the beginning of this year, I was like, cool, we'll do it again. So I did my learners again. So, I mean, right, I'm in a new town. They have a traffic center, so cool. I go and book my learners test. Okay. I mean, it's a learners, okay? It's a learners, it's straightforward. Everybody knows that you learn the test and the answers stay the same. If you just practice the test, you got it, okay? And mind you, I've done it before. So I am not unfamiliar with the rules of the road. I failed my learners. I'm just like,
shut the front door.
I don't understand. Okay, cool. But I'm like, it's cool. It's fine. So I actually, we had this conversation quite a couple of times the year before. And Onita, I had an interview with her previously. I'll link that up. She basically said that nobody passes their tests in this town that I'm in. And I was like, surely girl, that's a joke, like, you know, if you're good, you're good. And I was like, I had told myself that I'm going to get this purely by merit, okay? I'm not going to cut corners, I'm going to get this purely by merit. But like, even failing my learners for me was just like, how? It's like failing a times table test, like how? Anywho, so it's like, okay, cool. I booked my learners in Newtnik. Passed in Newtnik. So it's like, clearly this wasn't me. Clearly it was not me. Clearly I had the competence, the potential, and the knowledge to pass this test. Cool, so now I have my learners. Back to the town that I'm in. If you know what town that I'm in, then you know. If you don't know, watch the previous videos, you will know, okay? Come back to the town that I'm in. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I need to get these lessons. Remember, I had done lessons already last year, okay? But last year, Bendenze will code 8 because, yeah, you want to be a good driver. Apparently, they say code 10 drivers aren't good. So I was like, I want to be the good. I want to be the best, okay? So I did code 10. But then I told myself that if I failed the learners, I'm going to do code 10. So I got a code 10 learner's license, okay? So now I have to do code 10 lessons. So on top of those lessons that I'd done, so I got code 8 in 2019, I started doing code 10 lessons. So I get a driving school, do my code 10 lessons, and they gave me a package for 10 code 10 and 10 code 8, okay? So I do all of that, and then on the 7th of July, the 13th of July was my first driving test. I mean, I felt confident. I was like, listen, these are the walls of Jericho. We are going to break them down. Literally, I had prayed. I have never prayed that hard in my life. After my last lesson, I went to the traffic department and I started praying and declaring, and I was praying and praying and praying. Listen, I had received. I was worshiping in faith because we have received it. And yeah, so I also, the morning of, I also took McNabs to help calm the nerves. So I was feeling good. I was feeling confident. And then your girl rolled on the incline. And I'm like, I never roll. I've never rolled in my life. Why does I roll? But I rolled. Okay, fine. That's cool. That's my mistake. Okay. So I rebooked. I can't remember for when, but sometime in August. I rebook, and then I finished the test. And the testing testing officer says, oh, you would have passed if you were faster. I'm like, and what's confusing for me is that the whole time, my driving instructor was telling me not to be fast. So now I was driving at a pace that I'd been told to go at, and in the test I'm told you're too slow. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Plot twist. The driving instructor says, no, but actually, apa if awubrayibanga awuzopasa. I'm like, 3,000 rand later, you're driving school. 800 rand later, you test and car and truck hire. 650 later for 2 test bookings. You're gonna tell me that I should have just bribed. That's 7,000 rand later, you're telling me I should have just bribed.
You get out of here right now. What? Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Excuse me. And what I don't understand is that they know how much people rely on this service. They know how desperate people are for a driver's license. And that's why they make it so difficult for people to get it. And I'm just thinking for myself, like, you know, you get in the driving department and so many people are like, this is their only chance, this is their only opportunity, they aren't working, they need this because they're working. How are you going to expect bribes from an unemployed person? How? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so I decide, no, not going to do that. Because, you know, I understand people who bribe, because nyani, when your back is against the wall, what else are you supposed to do? You know, I understand that. But for me, I was like, I am not going to do it. I was just like, I don't want this to come back to haunt me years later, you know, when I'm an MEC of some department. You have skeletons in your closet. I ain't trying. So I was like, no, I'm going to do this, you know, clean. And also because, like, for me, you know, I was just like, I'm living with eternity in mind. I'm not trying to do things that are going to add blemishes and just gonna be like, sorry, Sissy, I see here. No. So with living with eternity in mind and also understanding that this whole journey was basically a test of faith. So I was like, you know what, let me just be patient. Let me just persevere, you know. So again, Udnek do. So I go to Udnek, book my test, you know, mind you again, there are also days of work that are being missed here. Book my test, on the date of the test was on a Monday. I get also just mind the lighting, is jiving and just doing what it does best. It's a bit overcast. So I decide to book another test. Get to Utnik, book the test. On the day of the test, hey, which is on a Monday, a work day, which means I took leave to be there. Testing officer, not at work.
Shut the front door.
A young phone call. Just let me know, call me, tell me, this test not happening today, we'll reschedule, you know. Because it's the time wastage for me. It's a time wastage, it's the unprofessionalism, it's the lack of consideration. So obviously I'm furious. I'm furious now, but anyway, I end up going home and we book another date. The date was Saturday, okay? So that's the day that Miko got killed. So I'm like, okay, do it for Miko, guys. Do it for Miko, Asi. Do it for Miko, okay? I did it for Miko, okay? So remember, throughout this whole time, I'm taking anxiety meds just to calm me down, you know, just that I can increase performance and just like calm the nerves. So I took calm meds. But like on that day, I had never been as calm in any lesson, in any test, any moment in my life, it feels. So I literally was just like, you know what, today's the day. And at this point, I didn't even have any more prayers to pray. I've prayed all my prayers. Like I said, on the 30th of July, I prayed all that I could pray. So basically, I was just like, yeah, Lord, just CC that prayer, copy and paste, replay, okay? So yeah, the test goes well and everything, okay? And then literally, for those who know, the testing route here, where where two Sakachong. Anyway, so that street, and that's like, the test is done, basically, you understand? The test is done, and baby girl tells me to switch lanes. She tells me to switch lanes. I switch lanes. And then she says, why did you do that now? Like, why did you go over the white line? And I'm like, what solid white line, girl? What solid white line are you talking about? So I failed. And I'm just like, what? And I told myself, listen, and yes, and you went on a solid white line. I literally went back, didn't see the line. Weeks later, I saw the line, Ingag. I kid you not, Ingag, the line. And I'm like, how am I supposed to see this line in an anxious state? I don't understand. Anyway, so it didn't happen for Biko that I passed, but in terms of me being able to overcome and captain my feelings and my emotions, to take charge of the state of anxiety and nervousness, that was a good day. That's what we managed to do that day. So I rebooked again, another 3:45, and on the 29th, on the 28th of September, finally happened. After the 5th day, after 4 of these ugly papers, okay, finally was able to get my license. So just think, that's like, I don't know how many 3,000 rands for driving school, 3 driving schools later. Also shout out to first time driving school. You guys are the bomb. You guys are the realest. Shout out to Marcus. If you are in Utneg and you need a driving school, this is a free plug. Go to first time driving school. I will link their website below and the contact details if you don't know, because you will get it the first time, okay? So 3 driving schools later, 10,000 rands later, because Mali Opugisha, Mali of driving school, money going to Utneg, money a truck hire, money for calming pills. You know, like, it shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be that hard. And I can attest to how mentally taxing it is. And I wouldn't wish for anybody to go through that situation. But unfortunately, I know that I am not the only person who goes through that situation. Like 10 to 1, 7 out of 10 of us go through that situation. At traffic department with our blue-green papers, like that's what's gonna happen. You know, either you're gonna get unreliable testing officers, or you're going to be expected to bribe, or unfortunately you're gonna allow nerves to get the better of you and you have to redo the whole process. And imali ayiko, where is the money for that? We don't have the money for that or the time for that, you know. And it's really just unfortunate because on top of the whole situation being stressful on its own, you still have people who are no matter how good you are. That's what my first testing officer said. Driving instructor said. He said, but you ain't gonna get it. No matter how good you are, you ain't gonna get it. Now, like, you don't get okay, like what is that? Like, how do you justify that? Like, it's honestly a miracle that Hawks hasn't busted these people, because it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay that we have to brace ourselves to do things that we would otherwise not do just because we are desperate to get something that will help us move forward. Like, already as black people, we are disadvantaged in so many ways. already we are struggling, you know, as young people to push ourselves out of the poverty that we have been born in, speaking for the majority. And now already, okay, on top of that, to have systems like this that prevent you from progressing, that can't be okay. That cannot be okay. That can't be overlooked. So to ever the powers that be, do something about it. Please do something about it, because I owe you. It's not the one. It really isn't the one. Yeah. So if you have a similar story, please comment with your story down below. Like I said, if you know somebody who is due to start driving school or get the license, whether it's the learners or the drivers, please share this with them. And if at any point in this video you could relate, then please like this video. But yeah, I think the whole point of this was just to show how, as much as we may want to progress, as much as we may want to do things, it's not a sole effort. We need the environment to play along. We need stakeholders in the community. We need the law to play along. And if they don't play along, then yeah, it just makes things a lot more difficult for us. You know, it makes the cycle of poverty for Black people, it just continues that, and it is not helpful. It is not helpful at all. I know how taxing it can be on your mental health. I know how taxing it can be on your finances, how much sacrifice people have to make just to get this, you know. Yeah, it's not a yoba. It's not a yoba at all. So many things get tested in that process. Your faith gets tested, your patience, your perseverance, your mental capacity, your finances get tested. Yeah, it's if you are somebody who's not sitting with a driver's license, you know, being the girl, being the boy that you think you are, then congratulations to you. If you're in the middle of the process, please don't give up. Until the next video, our team, do your best to do, be, and become.